All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to another great episode on your favorite political talk show, The Truth, with Ben Jokes. U.S. tariffs pose significant threats to Nigeria's economy. Others, IMF warns. Now, it is very easy to overlook updates like this, but these are some of the things that show how much we have failed as a people to get the best out of our God-given environment. Why should tariffs imposed by other countries, by another country, affect our own economy so much that it has to become world news? If we made the best use of our revenue to invest in building a productive society, if we tapped into other natural resources that we have for the benefit of the country, we wouldn't be here. But what do we have instead? Politics of greed and wickedness, enabled by the people's docility and lame and aboriginal sentiments of tribe and religion. What a shame. And this is what His Excellency Peter Obi keeps saying. We don't need this over-dependence on foreign countries. We have enough in this country to be the envy of the world. But because of the corruption that we have allowed to thrive in the society, the only source of envy that this country possesses is population, to the point that Kemi Badnoch denigrated Nigeria before the whole world. And when Shetima stepped up to give a reply to her, he couldn't say anything good about Nigeria other than we are the most populated black nation in the world. We have a teeming youth population. We have some of the highest youth population. But what have you done with that population? Extremely nothing, other than to live in a 21 billion naira mansion that adds nothing to the people. Now, on to the top stories. First is the resignation of Akim Baba Ahmed from the Tinubu cabinet. Akim Baba Ahmed was the chairman of Northern Elders Forum before Tinubu gave him an appointment. This is further proof that Northern Nigeria has fallen out with this administration, and that resignation gave birth to thousands of reactions. And next is that judgment from the Supreme Court. We all know that the Labour Party has been a shadow of itself for a while now, after the party chairman Julius Abure destroyed the internal democracy of the party by refusing to step down after his tenure. And Obedience got worried and confused as to what was next, the next destination for Peter Obi. But early this morning, the Supreme Court finally set aside the judgment of the Court of Appeal that upheld Abure, and they sacked Julius Abure as the party chairman, ushering the party into a new era. Before I show you details of these reports, let me quickly show you this video that I find very shocking. Natasha speaking on Akpabio's plot to eliminate her. See the video.
Barely 24 hours before arriving at her country home in Oke by helicopter, the Kogi state government had imposed a ban on political rallies, while the local government chairman in Senator Udwan's constituency had enforced a curfew restricting public movement. Speaking to a large crowd in her hometown of Ihima, Senator Akpoti Udwan explained that her recent trouble stemmed from speaking out against bad governance in the country.
The reason why I have been persecuted so much in the past 1 month is because I dared the bad, corrupt system. I refuse to do things the way they usually play politics. I refuse to be silenced. As I worked diligently, as I brought the dividends of democracy to you, I created enemies among some of my colleagues. There are some that felt I subjected them to ridicule. They told me, Natasha, your empowerment, by your empowerments, you're making our constituents insult us. So I kept on apologizing to them.
She vowed that any effort to recall her from the National Assembly would fail, asserting her determination to continue fighting for the people of Kogi Central.
On the 12th of March, Akpabio spoke to Governor Dodo to recall me. But he told him to be impossible because the masses are with her, the people are with her. But Akpabio was not satisfied. he then sent for Yaya Bello. And it was actually Senator Asukwo from Cross River that drove Yaya Bello from Hilton Hotel. I was informed of everything. And when I got to know, hold on, the meetings was in two folds. He told him to commence my recall and that he was going to fund it. Of course, monies changed hands that night. The second thing he told him was that he should try and kill me. I didn't make this public, but I wrote to the IG of police. And Akpabio told Yahaya Bello, I am safe, standing by what I've said. He told him that he should make sure that killing me does not happen in Abuja. It should be done here. So it will seem as if it's the people that killed me here. I didn't make that public, but we did notify the security agencies of that.
Senator Udwanha also appealed to the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to remain impartial, emphasizing that the world is closely watching the outcome of the recall process.
Wow, this is serious. And she has gone ahead to tell Akpabio to sue her based on the assassination allegations, meaning she probably has concrete evidence. You could even hear how she recounted where they met, the person who even drove Yaya Bello to meet Akpabio. So this woman has concrete evidence. Some are saying she's working with some international organizations to get her evidence. I think that could be true, because how is she getting all this? This is not looking good at all for Godzilla Akpabio. And I think those closest to him at this point should tell him to stop all this nonsense he's doing. This fight is not good for his already battered reputation. And could it be that he actually wants Natasha eliminated because of this? Look at this. I have solid evidence of Akpabio sexually harassing me. I will release it. Natasha Akpoti vows. If you recall, I did say here that I suspect that Natasha has another strong evidence and that she's just playing with Akpabio, dropping all these little ones, waiting for people to debunk. And I said that it could be the reason why Akpabio was not suing her, because if you are completely innocent, or if you think that there is no way to hold you, to catch you red-handed on something that you have done, and you are a man in that position, he should have sued with all this character defamation up and down. But he's not able to sue, and it could be because Natasha has strong evidence. And maybe he also wants her eliminated because of that evidence. At this point, no one can say how this is going to end, but I'll say, Natasha, Nigerians are behind you. If you have any strong evidence, we urge you to quickly show it to the world. Now, let us look at the top stories. First is the resignation of Tinubu's political advisor, Hakeem Baba Ahmed, from his cabinet, a further proof that northern Nigeria has given up on this administration. And next is the Supreme Court judgment setting aside the Court of Appeal judgment that upheld Julius ABURE as Labour Party chairman, and now sacking Julius ABURE as Labour Party chairman. Let's start by taking that update on the resignation of Hakeem Baba Ahmed. Look at how the papers reported it. Tinubu's political advisor, Hakeem Baba Ahmed, resigns. Dr. Hakeem Baba Ahmed, the political advisor to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has resigned, Daily Trust reliably learnt. Impeccable sources in the presidency confirmed yesterday that the former spokesman of Northern Elders Forum tendered his resignation about 2 weeks ago. The sources said Dr. Baba Ahmed did not provide details of the reasons for his decision, only stating that it was on personal grounds. However, as of the time of filing this report, it was unclear whether the presidency had accepted his resignation. Baba Ahmed was appointed special advisor on political matters in the office of Vice President Kashim Shettima in September 2023. Over the past 17 months, he has represented the presidency at several public fora, including a recent national conference themed Strengthening Nigeria's Democracy, Pathway to Good Governance and Political Integrity, which held on 28 to 29 January 2025 in Abuja. And this tweet here says, why didn't he resign since last year? He was appointed and assigned to the office of VP Shettima, where both of them are just idle, doing nothing, reading newspaper only. Just tell me any of his wise advice Tinubu has taken to improve the living standard of the northern people. And Anthony here says, Shetima will follow soon. Olariwaju Dayo says, better for him. I know him to be a fighter for justice, but since he joined the government, he has been silenced. Not even since he joined the government. From the moment he accepted an appointment from the APC, you lose whatever it is that has to do with integrity that was attached to your name. Because from the beginning of this whole regime, right from the declaration of INEC to the judgment of the Supreme Court, everybody with a conscience knows that everything was just fraudulent and shady. So once you receive an appointment from them, anything that has to do with integrity that was said about you falls to the ground. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to that update from the Supreme Court began making the rounds. Look at how the papers reported it. Breaking news. Supreme Court sets aside judgment recognizing ABURE as Labour Party national chairman. The Apex Court held that the Court of Appeal lacked the jurisdiction to have pronounced ABURE national chairman of the Labour Party. In a unanimous judgment, a 5-member panel of the Apex Court held that the Court of Appeal lacked the jurisdiction to have pronounced ABURE national chairman of the Labour Party after finding out earlier that the substance of the case was about the party's leadership. The Apex Court held that the issue of leadership was an internal affair of a party over which courts lacked jurisdiction. The court further allowed the appeal filed by Senator Nenadi Usman and one other and held that it was meritorious. It also proceeded to dismiss the cross appeal filed by ABURE group of the Labour Party for being unmeritorious. Now, Senator Nenadi Usman is the caretaker chairman that was appointed by, the convention, the mini convention that was held by Peter Obi, Alex Oti, and other Labour Party chief. I don't know if you recall that time they gathered and held, like a mini convention in Abia State, and Senator Nenadi Usman emerged as the party's caretaker chairman. That woman from Kaduna emerged. So ABURE went to the appeal court with a case against that arrangement. Top party members came together and said, ABURE, since you don't want to, leave office as Labour Party chairman, we will push you aside and nullify whatever you are doing by appointing a caretaker chairman so that the party can move forward. When ABURE approached the appeal court then nullified that arrangement that was done by Peter Obi and Alex Oti and top Labour Party chiefs, cancelled Senator Nenadi's caretaker chairmanship and upheld ABURE as the chairman. So Senator Nenadi, who is the caretaker chairman, then approached the Supreme Court challenging the judgment of the appeal court. So the Supreme Court has held that appeal court cannot determine what happens in a party. That once the top party members got together and took that decision, then that decision would have to stand. So it cancelled the judgment of the appeal court and sacked ABURE as the Labour Party chairman. So it is now the decision that was taken by the party chiefs, Peter Obi, Alex Oti, that will stand. So in a nutshell, Senator Nenadi Usman remains the caretaker chairman of the Labour Party, and Julius ABURE is out the window. Therefore, His Excellency Peter Obi has taken back control of the Labour Party. So the party can forge ahead from here now. And look at how Nigerians reacted. Let's take some of the tweet reactions. Daylower here says, ABURE the APC stooge. I hope LP can have the stabilization they need now and never allow a personality like ABURE near the party any longer. They have to stabilize the party. Kenneth here says, the Campis will now begin to flood Labour Party. Congratulations to Nenadi Usman. That is the caretaker chairman pending the main convention. And Aliko here says, no wonder politicians have been decamping to LP in Abia State since this week. Seems they got the info beforehand. It is very possible. And Nana here says, this should be the best news for the year. No, Nana, the year is still far ahead. There should be better news. But in God we trust here is skeptical about this judgment. He wrote, this news is not worth celebrating. They are doing this to make sure PO remains in LP to contest election in 2027 so that he does not join the coalition. Truth remains that the alliance is causing panic in the APC. Well, you have a point there. In God we trust, but I don't exactly agree with you. I don't think stabilizing the Labour Party actually causes any problem to the coalition. If anything, for me, it strengthens the coalition, because instead of joining any coalition as an individual, Obi can now join as an individual, then with a stable political party. Because we don't know if it's going to be a decamp. They might decide to want to decamp into one political party, or just form, an amalgamation of political parties. So stabilizing the Labour Party actually gives them many options to go about the coalition however they want to go about it. So there is no disadvantage in that. Having a stabilized Labour Party does not prevent Obi from going into a coalition. And those of us who believe that by popular votes he actually won the 2023 presidential election, we are not so exactly depending on the coalition like that in the way that you are looking at it. We believe that patriotic Nigerians in other parties can throw their weight behind His Excellency, even without us having to dissolve the parties into one. But if that is the way they want to do it, if they want to go ahead and dissolve the parties into one, I think it is even better when all the parties are stable. So there is no disadvantage here. We'll keep our fingers crossed and hope and pray that the Labour Party can keep on flying from here, devoid of any external interference. Anyway, make I leave am here, make I still enter town, make I go get some ogbonge political news wey una go like. Why? Because of una, na I dey here, so don't go away. Don't go away.